Hi, I'm Sally Hoskin, President of the Master Gardeners in Becker County. Today we're going to talk about pruning. And I'd like to start by introducing you to a general basic type of, different type of tool that you can use. First we have the clipper. And this clipper happens to be Felco, which is the clipper recommended by the University of Minnesota Landscape Arboretum. That is for little small stuff. If you have something to saw, I have this kind of saw. It takes a lot of elbow grease. Then there's the lopper. The lopper is something you use when you need something heavier than the clipper. And the lopper has a reach advantage. And finally, there's the pole saw. I have not attached the saw itself to this piece of equipment because I don't use the saw itself much. But I do use the nice feature that is a lopper on the end of a very long stick. And the advantage, of course, to this is that you can reach up in the trees and clip off what you need to clip off, and you've got about 12 feet of advantage that you don't have with a lopper. Pruning is both a science and an art. Let's go do some pruning. We need to prune this because after a storm, it has gotten in the way of my road. So we do have to prune it. Now the disadvantage is that it is summertime and our major pruning should be done in what we call the late dormant season. The late dormant season is right about March. And I'll tell you, that's a thrill to prune then because the weather has not turned nice yet, and yet us gardeners are getting antsy to get into dig in the dirt and so forth. And one way we can start getting into our gardens is by doing our pruning. So we walk around our property and do the pruning. Now, of course, we don't get it all. So March comes and goes, and spring comes along and the trees leaf out, and then we discover some dieback. We discover that there are some branches that are dead that we didn't know were, so we have to go and prune that. And we have storms that come along, which is the case in this time. So I have to cut this off. I don't want to do it while it's alive and in its growth. This is a red twig dogwood, and I'm going to cut it off right at the base. Now take a look closely because you can clearly see here this rough part. That's called the collar. This is the crotch of the branch, and this is the collar. We want to leave the collar on because the collar is the thing that heals the wound. It used to be they painted it black. Well, that is passé now. We just prune just outside the collar. There. And we do a nice clean cut. Now hopefully this red twig dogwood can lean upwards once again. On fruit trees, you're very likely, whether it's apple or in this case it is Amur chokecherry, which is not a native tree, but fruit trees, you're likely to have what we call water spouts. This is one. The water spout grows straight up from a branch. It is of very little use to the tree. It very rarely produces much fruit and it sucks energy out. So we want to clip that one off. Likewise, there's a little spur here that's also growing, and we want the energy to grow to the fruit itself. So we want to take that off as well. Here's another water spout. Some of them are kind of hard to get. There we go. And we take these off. Okay.
Ready? Okay.
This one happens to be a Northwoods maple, and it has some sucker branches coming out from the ground. I notice many of these in the city of Detroit Lakes on the avenues where they have sucker branches coming out from the ground. We don't want those, so we want to prune those out. Remember, most of your pruning is done in the late dormant stage, no more than 1/3 of the plant. Good luck in pruning.